So here for the syllabus, what I would want to do is treat this the same way I would in class, which is to say, I know you can read. So I don't want to have to read the syllabus to you. So it's over here. I have to go off camera. Um, so what I don't want to do is read it for you. I just want to hit the high notes so that we can keep moving forward here. On page 1, you can see over on the left-hand side, those are my online office hours. Let me tell you the following things are true. Number 1 is I will not be at the office at RVC because COVID. So I will be doing all of my office hours exclusively online. So they are listed here for you. What I will tell you is they are 4 days a week. I have them blocked off in 15-minute intervals so that you can sign up for 1 or 2 15-minute intervals so that way I can address more student concerns per day. I will tell you honestly, I have been pleased with or surprised with or inundated with more office hour requests than I have ever fielded when we are in class. So please make sure to reach out early to make sure that you can get office hours. As always, I provide for you my cell phone number. You can text me and you can call me at normal human being hours. So just remember, after 8 or before 6 a.m., if you text or call me, I will find a way to enact upon you a horrible judgment. And I'll find a way. So just keep the hours sane, please. Yeah. Otherwise, you can get me through messages or through email, and all of that comes to me all of the time. As has also been typical, or at least I think it is, just let me know if those office hours don't work for you and you need a meeting outside of that, and I will do what I can to be able to accommodate those. What I can tell you is Monday through Friday from 7 till about 11 a.m. And yes, there are 2 office hours there that run at, I think it's from 7 till 10 a.m. actually, sorry. I am a K4 instructor, so I am usually not good to go for those times, but any and all hours outside of that are reasonable, again, of course, I try to accommodate you for meetings. So just reach out is what I'm saying. As it has always been the case, I would much rather work with you through a problem when it is in its infancy so that we can get it crushed early, so that you can have as good an experience as possible, rather than wait until a problem has become a very, very serious issue, until you have gone nuclear, until your experience with the material or the course or how it is that you can apply it to your career is diminished. I do not want that. So I would much rather accommodate a host of Zoom meetings than not. The other thing to note here on the homepage is the course number is H for hybrid, but because of COVID, we're doing this as O for online, or I for internet rather. So you will notice a discrepancy potentially there. It is no big deal. And actually the unit, that is you guys, have spoken, and 100% of respondents said you wanted the course online. So online it is, which we'll talk about in another video coming up here shortly. Course objectives on the second page. I know you can read those, so I will not read them to you, but I can tell you that all of those are true. You are going to revisit HTML and CSS. You are going to use PHP and JavaScript to make web pages, and you are going to use a content management platform. In this case, it's going to be Dreamweaver, but we are going to talk about other ones to make web pages. So again, all of this is front-end design. So for those of you who signed up, and I know I got a couple of messages, which I hope I was able to, squash the concern there. was that you were going to be doing database development and things like that. No, not necessarily here. We're just going to overview how those have an impact on front-end web design. So continuing on, this is the big one here for this course. It's not my typical preference, I suppose, to use LinkedIn Learning or what used to be lynda.com for your textbooks. I know that many of you like to, retain a physical copy of those things moving forward. What I can tell you about PHP, JavaScript, Dreamweaver, things of those natures is they are forever moving in different directions. So one of the things I would have said time and again in Web 101 is remember the design for the web, the tools for design for the web, and the language for the design for the web is always changing. And that is the case here. I have never come across a PHP book or a JavaScript book that I've been happy with because they're either way too expensive to want you to buy more than one textbook, or they are way too old to be any good anymore. I find that LinkedIn Learning, which again used to be lynda.com, provides us with a relatively inexpensive alternative that meets everybody's needs and can do the following things. Many of the course samples that I have taken for us as our textbook come with certificates of completion. What I would like for you to be able to say is that not only when you are done taking Web 102 do you have a broader knowledge that you can take to a potential future employer in a whole host of different publishing platforms, in a whole host of different publishing methodologies. Not only that, but you can prove it with some, broader than just, hey, I took a class credentials. So many of the e-learning modules that we have connected through class here essentially give you a certificate of completion that you can attach to your LinkedIn profile that a potential future employer can see, look, they have this piece of design understanding. Look, they have at least some exposure to this language that I'm looking for them to have. And honestly, I think that that's a hell of an advantage over, here's a textbook that now that we have the apocalypse, I will admit to you, is good for kindling and toilet paper, but may not be, the same boon that it would be on an interview. Here, with LinkedIn Learning, with a LinkedIn Learning account, with a LinkedIn account that you can share with a potential future employer later on down the road, you can say, look, I have these credentials, which, although they're not a certificate, although they are not a degree, they are verifiable proof that you have, learned Atom, that you have learned Dreamweaver, that you have seen PHP, that you have seen JavaScript, that you have developed pages in these industry standards, and that's something that they can use moving forward. So, what we are going to use is 2 months, 8 weeks of LinkedIn Learning. Even better is if you have not signed up for LinkedIn Learning before, it is 30 days of a free trial. So after this today, when you're done, looking at all the videos, etc., go ahead and sign up for LinkedIn Learning. Even if you have a LinkedIn account, let me suggest the following thing. If you sign up with your student at rockvalleycollege.edu account, you get a $5 a month discount, which means that instead of being $30 for 2 months of LinkedIn, 1 free month plus 1 month of cost, it's $25, which is a hell of a deal. If you find that you want to continue, and I know stuff is crazy, but if you find that you want to continue, actually, if you sign up for the first time with your .edu address, it costs $240 for the year instead of $300 for the year. And that's a hell of a discount too. So that's our textbook, is 2 months of LinkedIn Learning. Hopefully only 1 month will cost you. So all of those things are true. I have a note here on page 2 about using the labs. Look, if you need to use the labs, just reach out and I will work with Deb to get you what you need over at RVC, give you the proper times and things like that. None of campus is open for regularly scheduled hours. Everything has changed. So reach out if you need accommodations rather for the technology aspects of this, and we will get it to you. Do not worry if you are coming from a Mac or a PC, because just like before, the language of the web goes everywhere, and we do not need one platform or another. That's part of what makes it really great. So there is that. I have reference here to being able to install Apache, to being able to install MySQL, XAMPP, which is XAMPP, or MAMP, which is MAMP, which is for a Mac if you have it. Hold off on all of that. And just chill on that, and we'll come back to those ideas later on. As we go down to page 3, methods of student assessment, there are quizzes and tests. There are quizzes and tests. I know that you know that that's not my preference. However, the quizzes and tests are actually here in LinkedIn Learning, and what they do is they provide to you a certificate of completion when you are done. I think that that is a hell of a trade-off to be able to make, is an industry, or at least a recognizable cert. So they are not the same things as like a Microsoft certified engineer, like an MSE. Coffee is running out. They are not the same as a CCNA. Those are much broader accepted ones. These are certificates of completion that, frankly, stand a little bit better up to scrutiny than even like an RVC course completion certificate would. So the trade-off here for quizzes and tests, I think, is worth it. There are 3 projects. Project 1 will actually be due on session 3 already, but we are going into those. Those are worth 10% of your overall grade a piece. There are also discussions. They are sprinkled here throughout the content, and you'll know them when you see them because they have that little, like the text bubble in them when they are listed here in Eagle, so you will see those there. The grading scale is the usual grading scale. Keep in mind there is attendance. The way I'll keep attendance is if you hand in your stuff or if you've communicated with me over the course of the week. So if I simply do not hear from you and you simply do not hand something in, or you simply have not completed any discussion postings, things of that nature, I will consider that an absence, and as is usual, 2 absences, if we haven't talked about it, I will drop you if I can or fail you if I have to. 2 absences is 25% of the course, which is far, far too much, even here in times of cholera and COVID. So we will attempt not to do that, please. Just keep in contact. Please remember, I'm as flexible as I think is like reasonable. So just keep in contact, and hopefully we won't have to worry about any of that. I know you can read all of the rest of this. On page, it's 5 and 6, you will see a rough outline for how everything goes. Because we're doing this as an all online class, because I suspect that most of your classes are all online, and I suspect that most of your instructors are going to be looking for Monday night due dates, I'm going to make everything due Wednesday. So that way you and I both have a little bit of flexibility there so that you can concentrate on, oh shit, I got, these courses I have to get done for Monday. That means I can move WEB102, and I think that that's fair to Tuesday and Wednesday. If that's what works for you, great. Hopefully that continues to work. You can see the outline there For the most part, I want to stick to that. And what I'll tell you honestly is at session 3, I have a breakpoint in there where I'm going to look and see if... Anyway, I think it's correct. That's about the best I can give you from here. The final exam date is Wednesday night. No final exam. It's a project is going to be due that night, just like it was with WEB101. The last day to withdraw is Thursday, November 21, which I think is super duper generous. What I will tell you is 4 weeks from this week at the midterm is the only time I will withdraw you from the course. So for whatever reason happens, look, I understand, like, stuff is freaking nuts. So if we have to withdraw you, the only time that I can withdraw you is at the midterm. Any time before or after that is going to be up to you. So keep that in mind as we go through here. Other than that, the Tutoring Center is available. I do want you to know that for not just my courses, but all of your courses. The Tutoring Center, the Writing Center, all of those are still open. So if you are struggling in this class or others, don't hesitate to reach out and to ask us, because, you know, we can provide as instructors extra help. I will provide as an instructor extra assistance with you guys. Or we do have the Tutoring Center. Bob Bach is still with us there and providing. He's there the same way I'm in campus, right? Is via Zoom, but he's still available via Zoom to be able to help. So there is that. As always, there's the disclaimer at the very bottom, which says maybe stuff changes, deal with it. So that is the syllabus. If you have any questions or comments or concerns, just message me about them and we'll talk. If you've noticed I've made any mistakes, just message me about it and I'll fix them. So that is the syllabus.